folks, I hope your day's going well. If it isn't, just makes my job easier. I had originally intended to do this video as a first impressions, as an immediate reaction video with my cousin as to what we thought of the Expendables 3, and it soon turned out that we are about as good at improvising as Uwe Boll is at directing. And so, now a week away from the release, from opening weekend of Expendables 3, a week away from having seen the film myself, I figured, you know what, screw it, I'm still going to give my impressions of the movie, because I still love this movie, I still love this series, and I'm still looking forward to another installment in this series, if there even is one, which I hope to God there is. So, let's get started. Stallone. I want to have your baby, Stallone. I want to marry you, buy a timeshare in South Miami, and spend the evenings watching the beautiful sunset from the top deck of our beachfront condo while sipping Long Island iced tea and serenading you awkwardly in the third person until I treat you to dinner at the nearest steakhouse before a late-night jaunt to the local Cineplex for a Saturday evening matinee. Nothing too sappy, and certainly not God's Not Frickin' Dead. I'd rather deep-fry my Cocker Spaniel's crank and serve it up at my church's next potluck than ever subject myself to that preachy, self-deprecating, Bible-thumping Hallmark Movie of the Week wannabe wankathon. Okay, actually, scratch all that. But I will have to say, well, I'm not kidding when I say this, Sly, that with now three films into the Expendables franchise, even with this third movie being, in my opinion, downgraded to a PG-13 rating, I have yet to find one film out of this series that I either don't care for all that much, or just outright despise. Now, if you want my full opinions and examinations of the two previous films, you're going to have to wait for my comprehensive film reviews of both movies. To make a long story short, the Expendables films are just shameless sausage fests that are meant to emulate the big, slam-bang, blow-crap-up for 90 minutes action films that had the pleasure of gracing the silver screens worldwide during the better part of the 1980s. Lots of, expecting a deeply layered plot, three-dimensional characters, and Oscar-winning acting, look elsewhere. Expect lots of explosions, crazy over-the-top action that would make even the most jaded action fanboy go absolutely gaga. That's what you get from these films. And also some pretty good laughs, because this film attempts to go for a somewhat more comedic tone than its predecessors. Despite this film's ultimate lack of a plot, allow me to make an attempt to bring in the bare basics for you. In this film, a group of badass mercenaries called the Expendables head out to Somalia to take out an arms dealer who turns out to be one of the co-founders of the original team, a guy named Conrad Stonebanks. Years back, the team's current leader, Barney Ross, found out that Stonebanks was secretly selling weapons to anybody who handed out the biggest paychecks and attempted to kill him. Unfortunately, Stonebanks survived and is thriving as an international arms dealer and war criminal who has now set his sights on destroying the Expendables team, having already critically injured their barrel weapons expert Hail Caesar in the process. And in response to Hail Caesar's injuries, Barney decides to reach out to an old contact to recruit some fresh blood to go after Stonebanks. Some new, young, dumb, and full of cum soldiers. So there's an interesting clash between the old breed and the new breed, the old blood and the old blood. The new kids against the old guys, unapologetic brute force with sleek advancements in new technology. The thing I love about the Expendables films, more so than just the action, is that the films are basically a collection of all the biggest washout action stars that have broken out in the last 20, 25, 30 years. And this film, just like the two previous ones, provides no shortage of old washouts. On the side of the Expendables, we have Sylvester Stallone, we have Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture, Terry Crews, Jet Li, Wesley Snipes, Antonio Banderas, Harrison Ford, Kelsey Grammer, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. The young blood that Barney brings into they consist of famous boxer Victor Ortiz, UFC fighter Ronda Rousey, and actors Glenn Powell and Kellen Lutz. I think that's how you pronounce his name. That last guy, by the way, being in this film, he more than made up for sharing screen time with the porcelain-skinned Man Queen and Madam Mouth Breather in that god-awful Twilight series. Now, on the side of the villains, we have Robert Davi, who plays an Albanian arms dealer and also one of Stonebank's regular customers, and playing the part of Conrad Stonebanks, we have none other than that dastardly, hard-drinking, anti-Semitic, slurring devil Mel Gibson. Harrison Ford's character, unfortunately, is really just a cheap shoe-in replacement for Bruce Willis, who was unable to take part in this film over disputes he had with Stallone over his predetermined salary. Still, Ford's character, Max Drummer, it does somewhat provide a suitable replacement for Bruce Willis's Mr. Church. I think my personal favorite characters in this film were obviously Gibson's character Stonebanks and Antonio Banderas' fast-talking, loose-cannon character Galgo. Now, the young blood the young actors that they did bring in this film were able to impress me sufficiently, especially Ronda Rousey. And I hope to see these guys do later films, later action films, and hopefully more Expendables movies as well. But I can't really help but feel that their casting was really just a cheap attempt, along with this PG-13 rating, was a cheap, ham-fisted attempt on Sly's part to try to attempt to broaden the audience for this film, who chances are have no prior knowledge of the previous two films, or of any of the old geezers who are taking part in it. But who knows? Maybe this can be a good way to renew interest in these actors and get these kids to watch some of their previous films, which is highly unlikely considering there's a lot of kids these days who, for some odd reason, not only don't want to, but utterly refuse to watch any film that came out prior to the turn of the millennium. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. So did I like The Expendables 3? Hell yes, I liked it! I freaking loved it! Just like I loved the two previous films. And I promise you folks that when the DVD drops, I will be giving you my full 100% comprehensive review of this movie with more in-depth. So hopefully you don't mind waiting a few months. About the only thing I don't like about this film is the fact that we are now 3 films into this Expendables franchise, and we still have yet to bring Kurt Russell into the mix. Look, this legitimately pisses me off Sly. I know that there are still chances for a 4th movie, and I know that should there be a 4th movie, I know you are considering putting The Rock in as the villain for the next film, and I know Pierce Brosnan and Hulk Hogan are talking about potentially being in a 4th movie. Sly, look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes, Sly. Listen to me very carefully. Okay, when you're done looking me in the eyes, read my lips. Bring Kurt Russell into the next film. With this Expendables film we just got, who did we get? We got Mad Max, Passenger 57, Han Solo, and friggin' El Mariachi. Next movie, Sly, bring in Snake Plissken. Make it happen. Okay, feel much better now. I want to know what you think out there in YouTube land. Leave a comment, send a private message. Do you like the Expendables movies? And if you do, who would you like to see in the next Expendables film? If there even is a high possibility, if there even is a chance of there being a 4th film. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe, whatever you want to choose, folks. I'm Chris the Liberty Gamer, sporting a brand new pair of Razor Fist rip-off aviator shades, saying so long and have a good one.